Thanks for tuning into Stocks with Antonio. If you've been following the channel, you know my recent videos I've been talking about if you're in some short-term positions to go ahead and take some profits. Have some money on the sidelines for a pullback, and we had a pullback. When you see the stock market run up for weeks, it's bound that a pullback is going to happen. So if you got in some positions and you're up a lot, it's not a bad idea to take some profit. Now, you may be wondering why did we have this pullback? What's going on? We had the jobs report come out. And we want people to have their jobs. We want the economy to be prospering and creating new jobs for individuals, right? So they can have an income for themselves, for their family. That's important. But it because the jobs report came out good, exceeding expectations, the reason investors didn't like that because now they're concerned about rates, right? The economy at the end of the day is expensive, and if you need to borrow money, it's even more expensive because interest rates have not been coming down. So you got high prices and rates going up. It's not a good recipe, and that's what's happening right now. But because the job market stayed strong, now investors are concerned that there could be possibly rate hikes. And if we do get rate hikes, that won't be good for the economy. It won't be good for the stock market because, like I said, everything's expensive and then rates going up and inflation getting out of hand. It's just not going to be good. So we'll have to see what happens. Now, I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not bearish. I'm actually bullish for 2026. I think 2027 is going to be another good year for the stock market, but there are concerns and we can't ignore them and we have to be aware, right? A lot of depending, some of you are going to be newer investors, some of you may have been investing longer, and some people only want to focus on the charts, which learning the charts, understanding what you're seeing on charts is extremely important. And I'm not saying it isn't. You also got to pay attention to the news, what's going on. Sometimes there's things going on in the world that you may notice doesn't really impact the stock market as much, but there are other things that really do. And today's job report was something that was very important that a lot of investors were looking at, and the charts wouldn't be able to predict the outcome of that report this morning when it came out, I believe 8:30, right? So that's why you want to stay up to date on earnings, you want to stay up to date on job reports, on important things that can affect stocks either up or down that the charts aren't going to pick up till after it happens. So I just wanted to put that aware. If you are an investor and you're investing frequently and you're a short-term investor, you do want to be aware of companies' earnings. You want to be aware of important dates when news is going to be released because it can impact the stock market. And for you to be more successful and have better trades and be more profitable, you got to be aware of all this. So, like I've always said, trading is not easy. It takes a lot more time than what some of the individuals say on Instagram, on YouTube. They try to make it super easy. Oh, only trade for an hour. No, you got to do research before you're trading. You got to keep up with the news. You got to keep up with what's going on. You got to look at the charts. You got to prep. A lot of people don't talk about that. So there's more time put into it than just going on to the market in the morning or whenever you trade and just putting an hour or two. Because if you're not prepping, if you're not looking for opportunities and paying attention to the news and what's going on in the world, I feel you're not going to be as good of a trader. I think that's important, and that also consumes your time. And some people don't talk about that. So I want to be transparent. I do want to talk about those things as well. Now, also, if you've been following the channel, I have been bringing a lot of videos about Meta. And if you got into Meta this week, you had an opportunity to make some money to the upside. I've been talking about Meta when it's been trading around $600, a little bit under 600, and it ran this week. It ran all the way up from 600 to a little bit above $640 share. What a run. And I even brought to your attention, in case you weren't interested in getting into the stock because it's trading at that $600 level, I talked about METU, which is the ETF 2X, and that one you were able to pick up for under, well, when I made the video for under $25 a share, could have made some profit there. Now, we did have the pullback, right? The whole market pretty much pulled back today, so there's no surprise. And Meta pulled back pretty strongly, And some people may be wondering, hey, what's going on? Well, some news came out about Meta. And this is, again, why I wanted to talk a little bit. You got to pay attention to the news, right? So some news came out about Meta that they're thinking about diluting shares. The same news came out about Google to get more money to continue to investing into AI. Now, if you've been following Meta for a while, you've been following their earnings, you know they've been doing well in their earnings, which is great. But investors have concern with Meta because they've been spending so much on AI. And now there's news coming out that they might dilute the shares, which usually investors don't like, to get more money to invest in AI. So that I know they've been having some issues with investing in AI so much, and it looks like this earnings is probably going to show us that they're planning to even invest heavier, which if it wasn't taken well before, that is an indicator that it may not be taken well on their Q2 earnings. So I wanted to throw that out there. Now, am I a believer in Meta? I have been saying I'm buying Meta shares. I'm going to continue to buy Meta shares because I told myself I'm okay holding Meta long term. I think it's a company that's going to continue to grow. I think it's investing in the future. So if the share price pulls back, I'll just continue to dollar cost average and I will reap the benefits one day, but it may be now longer down the road instead of well, what I was really planning to do was short term. I was going to leave part of it long term, part of it short term. Now the whole thing, I always say this, you got to manage your trades and sometimes you have to make adjustments. So I might just adjust instead of doing partial short term, partial long term, I might just leave all the shares I have in Meta long term and continue to try to dollar cost average. Sometimes you have to focus on building a position in a company you believe in and you reap the benefit by being patient. So I wanted to talk about Meta because I've been making videos about it and it has been going to the upside. So hopefully some of you were able to jump in there, make some money on the short term on it. And if you did, let me know down in the comments below. I love to see people winning. There's in the stock market, there's money for everyone to win, right? So we don't have to be, I like to share information. Hopefully you find it useful, but there's so much money out there, especially in the stock market. Nobody needs to be in the sense, if I see an opportunity, I want to bring it to the channel, right? But I have to be honest with you. I'm not a financial advisor and I cannot tell you what to buy, when to sell, what to do when it comes to your money. But I'm just sharing with you my opinions, how I see things, and how I see the stock market. But I still believe there's a lot of opportunity for those of you that know how to do options, right? You can make money to the downside. And even if you're like, hey, I don't know much about options, I don't want to do options. They're too risky. I'm worried about my time expiring. The things that come with options. Well, there's a lot of companies out there that have 2x where if the stock goes down, right, you make money with the 2x. And the way you know if a company that you like, if it has a 2x bull or 2x bear, right, just go ahead and go on Google. Use the tools that you already have on your fingertips. You can go Google, you can use ChatGPT, you can find out if a company that you're following, if it has a 2x to the upside and a 2x to the downside, and a lot of companies do. So if you don't want to maybe do options, and let's say you feel that the company's share price is too high, and you're just looking like, hey, I want to get in there and play this company to the upside or downside short term, then there's the 2x's. I do like to bring this up every time I talk about the 2x's. They are not meant to be held long term. They're meant for short trades. So just keep that in mind. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you what to do with your money. But if you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor. Let me know by smashing the like button. Also, leave me some comments down below. What are your views for 2026? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Let me know. If you're bullish, you can just write bullish. If you're bearish, just write bearish. And I know how you're feeling about this market. But if you haven't done so, hit the thumbs up. Don't forget, check out the description box. And if you haven't done so, do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you on the next one.